Welcome to Good News. I'm Stephen Tansey.
I'm Tanner Murray.
And we're going to talk to you about some good news happening in the world. First up, Tanner will take us through some stories in New York.
Sure. The first piece of news coming from New York City is that Zohran Mamdani won the Democratic primary for New York mayor. Can't wait for him to be the next president, right? And then the second piece of good news is that school meals will be covered by Governor Hochul announcing free breakfast and lunch for students. That'll probably help them pay attention at school, you know. It's a good thing all around, I'd say. This is going to save families $165 per child, which is awesome. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of tacos, personally. I could eat $165 worth of tacos, I think.
There is a wonderful taco spot from here.
Yeah. And I think I'll kick it off to Stephen for our next piece of good news.
Yeah, so some good news happening out in California. A near-extinct red fox was caught on a trail cam in the Lassen Volcanic National Park. GoodNews.org reports that a Californian photographer named Randy Robbins has captured up to 3 minutes of high-quality camera trap footage of an animal believed to have a population of less than 100. Robbins had managed to capture this footage of the Sierra Nevada red fox. It is believed these creatures are close to being inbred out of existence. Robbins himself says we're a couple generations away from these foxes dying out due to inbreeding. What makes this feat even more impressive is these foxes live only at 6,000 feet above sea level or higher. For Robbins to be able to get his shot, he left his camera at about 8,500 feet above sea level in the winter, over the entire winter, and only retrieved it after all the snow had melted. Coming back to our second piece of good news, right here in Vermont, actually, places are pretty rural. You've noticed on your drive up that there's some spots that don't even have cell service still. The Associated Press reports that Patrick Slott, a Vermont man who works for Beta Technologies, has started repurposing old payphones so that they work by converting an internet line to a old, more traditional analog line. He also removes the coin operation measures so that these phones can be used for free. He's so far installed 3, one at North Tunbridge General Store, one in Latham Library in Thetford, and one at an informational booth in Randolph, right off of I-89. The community seems to really enjoy these phones, as 370 calls were made from the Latham phone last month alone. I know personally I really love going back to old technologies. I've been trying to use a flip phone recently personally, just when I'm with my friends or loved ones, to really focus in on time. And I appreciate how these things kind of give us a time and space to use technology rather than it being all consuming. I mean, you probably remember the 90s computer desks where there was a whole station for the computer and not just on your phone.
My family had a family computer room where the computer was mostly just used for solitaire. But it was the only computer in the entire room in the house, basically.
That was it. It was a whole shrine, basically, just for the computer.
Pretty much.
With that, we're going to cut to our field reporter. Let's see what he has to say.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're out here in the magnificent sword field, playing some Magic the Flag here. Today we are trying to capture each other's flags. And it's a lovely, cloudy of 89, and it's a little warm. And it's having a great time out here. Back to you, Stephen.
Absolutely fascinating. I always love checking in with our field reporter. You never know what he's up to.
I know, you never know. You never do.
We're going to switch over to some personal good news now. I'll start with this section. For me, after months of waiting, the judiciary has finally approved my request for reclassification, or an RFR. Started back on November 22nd of 2024, this process aimed to get me reclassified from a Help Desk Analyst 1 to a Help Desk Analyst 3. The RFR process, thank you. The RFR process is available to all judiciary employees who feel like they're doing a higher level of work than what they're getting paid for. To begin the process, you fill out some paperwork about what your current job entails. You have your manager also fill out some paperwork about what they believe you do. And you send that information off to HR, who then takes a look over that paperwork and decides if you are in fact doing higher level work than you're being paid for. Because I had initially disagreed with HR's initial decision, I then contested it. It went to the person who oversees HR to take a look. And
Bureaucracy,
I-
red tape, all that.
the government loves it.
Yeah, they do.
So after the head of HR took a look over my paperwork I submitted and why I thought their initial decision was wrong, as of July 7th, they have ended up agreeing with me that Help Desk Analyst 3 was the position that was the correct one for me to get RFR'd into. With this decision comes a sizable amount of back pay that I am due. This back pay is the amount equal to the difference in pay from what I was paid to what I should have been paid if I was a Help Desk Analyst 3 this entire time. This decision is like a breath of fresh air for me, as I have my own wedding to pay for later this year, as well as to travel to another friend's wedding in South Carolina. With this money, I will be greatly able to put it towards those expenses and have a bit of breathing room when it comes to being able to afford such things. Tanner, you had a similar positive story, right?
Yeah, I just got married this past year. It was actually
Wow.
last year. So we celebrated our 1 year wedding anniversary,
Nice.
which was super fun. Yes. We went to the Finger Lakes and the Wine Trail, which was very exciting. And for our honeymoon, after the wedding, we went to Jamaica, which was great.
Nice.
A little scary off of the all-inclusive resort that we went to, but that's okay because it was still beautiful and very hot.
Yeah.
So that's all that you want in a honeymoon, is for it to be very warm.
Well, if I remember correctly, you had a nice pool, and I'm sure you had great.
Yeah, it was
drinks
right next
around.
to the ocean,
Yeah.
you know. All the drinks were included and everything. It was a great time. So I would recommend Jamaica for anyone that's looking for a nice honeymoon if you can afford and want to go.
And not Jamaica, New York, right?
No, not Jamaica, New York. No, way different vibe. You might be a little disappointed if you go there expecting a lovely beach resort. I'm sorry to say.
Well, I think that about wraps up all the news stories we have. Thank you for tuning in to Good News. I'm Stephen Tansey,
I'm Tanner Murray.
and we'll see you next time.
Two disgruntled government employees here
Yeah, reporting live from the disgruntled employees.
from our basement office. I'm sorry to cut you off, my lovely co-host. Please continue with your story.